Alright, looking at the map, we have to get pretty much everything. Yeah, I'm excited for it as well. Am I going in the right direction? We are. Okay. Specifically, explorers' satchels and maps would be really nice. What's going on at the bonfire household? Got all your your plants in check and the waterings of melons. It's been raining, man. We have had so much rain this winter, like a ridiculous amount of rain.
So, how many of them survived in there?
Not many. The cave has wiped out most of them. Left the rest in disarray. Then Croft showed up.
Damn, this is getting out of hand. So it's the same woman. Is he sure?
It's Constantine. Of course he's sure. She was there in the tomb in Syria, and then she walked right into the facility.
Christ. She's either brave or stupid.
Oh, she's really good.
Have you seen one of those barrels burn?
Yeah, it's like ancient napalm. Hell,
Sweep and clear. Let's move.
Can we get any more poison bows?
maybe this way.
Is there a dude somewhere? Sounds like there's a dude somewhere.
Gotta be around here somewhere.
Is he the only one left?
Nothing. Keep looking.
That was so cool. What game was it that I picked the ability to do the death from above in and it just wouldn't work? That's how it should have been. Like, that death from above was amazing. Alright, that's where we got the thing from and then had to run out of here before the the whatever they were. The undead. The deathless. Almost tempted to get the... There's a thing there. To get the last one of these before the Steam sale's over. What are they offering it to you for? I ended up getting a lot of the Steam World games. I think I might have gotten all of them. Except I didn't get it in a bundle. Because the bundle was going to cost like $20 more than buying the games I wanted. than buying all of the games. because it included 2 soundtracks that were like $15 each. I'm like, no. And it almost made me not buy them, but I'm like, man, they were really cheap. I saw a thing over here, which I think, oh, it might be grappling hook too. Yep, I think it's grappling hook to that. Oh, Lawrence, you're gonna feel some pain after this session. Nice. $10, man. That's a bargain.
When the Emperor died, the Prophet's favor was lost, and we were forced to begin our exodus in the dark of night. The new Emperor has no love for the Prophet, so there was nothing left to stop the Knights of the Order of Trinity. We fled towards the desert, to begin again, when the Order of Trinity came upon us, and murdered the Prophet. I saw him die. We placed his body in a cave near the oasis, and in our sorrow, began to build him a tomb. The Order of Trinity is not finished. They desire not only the death of the Prophet, but the mysteries of the divine source. They will come again. But in our darkest hour, the Prophet has risen. He has defeated death, just as he will defeat our enemies.
Cool. Okay, so there's not actually that much in here. There's 2 relics, 2 more documents, a mural, survival caches, coin caches. So we should, like, 1 or 2, either an explorer's bag. The only reason you didn't buy it before now is you played this tea out of death. A lot of expeditions kept you busy for a while. Yeah, what are the expedition stuff? Because it's separate from the main story, right? Oops. Well, that's one way to fall down. Alternative game modes. Okay. Like the same maps and zones and stuff? Oh, different maps. Oh, interesting. There's also something at Croft Manor as well, yeah? That's not just a tutorial. They're not stories, different games. Like just single explorations. I'll have to check one out so I can get a feel for it. How do I get through there? Oh, I feel like I have to do these two sides separately. Like maybe we don't get to go through there. I have to go back to this base camp and go round to the other base camp. Let's do that. Let's go over to the other base camp. Greek fire depot. Okay, start exploring. There's a thing. Let's go grab the thing. This was a really cool zone, and we probably could have done a lot more exploring while we were in here, but the zone itself just felt like it gave the urgency of, I don't know, I didn't want it. I wanted to get through it. Like the ordeal was. How do I get over there? So I want to get to that. I'm going to get to the monolith. Mainly because it'll give us a... Oh, that's a thing. Okay, we want to get that. And then we'll go to the monolith.
Soldier's flag, to be hung from a spear. This must have belonged to the Prophet's army.
Spikes are bad and high. Uh-oh. Lawrence. I still want to get up over to there, though. I wonder if we can bust open that door somehow. Being inside a burning building does tend to a certain feel of urgency as it applies getting out. Yeah. Okay, so without falling down this time. Oh, we could have come through there by the looks of it. It's a common flaw in a lot of games. It's that the side quest itis, I guess we'll call it. But like as a player, I want to experience most of the story and the game and stuff, right? But as the player character,
Trinity has twice before sent great men seeking the Prophet's path, and twice before they have vanished. He carried the divine source out of the Empire, but it was not his to take. That blasphemy taints everything while his descendants still live. So Trinity must try again. I have done ungodly things, committed terrible sins against the innocent, just to reach this place. To retrieve the divine source. I know God will forgive for what I do. I do for the greater good. Now the end is in sight. I need only survive this final battle, and Trinity's work will be done.
Yeah, but the player character point of view is you do the side quests that you come across if you know, or you go looking for them if you feel they're going to help the long-term cause.
Some of the words have been scratched out, but it seems to be pointing towards something.
And the whole oh, okay, they're the caches. The Mass Effect side of it was so we still need to find 2 survival caches and a mural document and a relic. Yeah, the Mass Effect point of going around scanning planets before you go fight Saren is we need to get stronger. Right, find more alliances. Be ready to, win the battle. So when someone gives you this crappy side quest, it's like, okay, we're doing this so that they can trust us, so that then they'll send us aid and whatnot makes sense. But then you get to the... yeah, you still get a lot of Easter eggs and stuff. It's cool. Or extra little tidbits, dialogue that people have that you don't get if you haven't explored enough. Yeah, Easter eggs are marked with completion. That does feel a little, yeah. You definitely get them, though. To extend gameplay? Yeah, oh, definitely. It's stuff that's appealing to our human nature, especially for people that you know, the people that play video games, especially the type of games that have collection-y type stuff, you know, a lot of them get put in there because the psychology of in the development says do this because it'll create engagement. You know. And it used to not matter so much, and it's where like games evolve way too slowly. You know, and we saw this with as, you know, when home video game systems came about, we still had games that were being developed like arcade machines, which the whole loop was to get more quarters out of people.
Sulfur. This must have been where they prepared the raw ingredients for Greek fire.
You know, so you get lots of games that were still great games and, you know, pioneered the way, but we were kind of archaic in the idea of, you know, why are we having limited lives? And forcing players to just develop a muscle memory for level. Well, that's the thing. It ruins the flow in gameplay, right? And I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. The reason that does is, again, with the evolvement, whatever, of video games, means that currently more games are getting made than ever before. Like the number of video games that gets made and distributed like increases so much every year. Because tools are being made that allow people to make games easily. So, one, experienced teams are being able to put out more games sooner, but inexperienced teams are able to just put out a game, right? Which is good and bad. You know. But what that does to us as players, especially players that want to experience the whole game, which for most of us that want to feel that, like I want to see the content and you know, and do it, that 100% completion checkmark, that almost validates it for me. It's like, okay, having an in-game 100%, that tells me I've seen all the things, right? And maybe if there's some things that aren't on that checkmark, chances are, while I'm exploring to get that 100%, I'm going to find the other ones as well. Right?
When the Knights of the Order of Trinity learned of the Prophet's rebirth, they attacked again. But we were armed with true faith. Where they expected a slaughter of helpless refugees, they found an army of men and women who would no longer be victims. Many died there, but in the end, we stood victorious. We fled, leaving his tomb and the Empire behind. We walked for months, across the high plains, and into the frozen lands beyond the borders of the Empire. The path was difficult, and many began to doubt the Prophet. I am ashamed to say I did as well. I hope he can forgive me. For with the break of dawn, we now see the truth. He has brought us to an earthly paradise, where we can begin anew. God bless the Prophet, for he has delivered us.
So I think what's happening, and I'm definitely guilty of this, is that because there's so many more games to move on to, we want to get our completion while we play. Because exploring stuff while you play is more efficient than going back for a second playthrough. Especially in areas where you might have explored all the things. Tomb Raider's doing this quite well. To avoid this is you don't have to do a complete new playthrough to get stuff you may have missed. Some games require you to you know, if you want to get certain achievements, you have to go back and play the whole game, or hit New Game Plus, or there it is. But what that does is kind of like what I'm doing now, except you've got to find a balance, because games get accused of, you know, padding the game with fill side quest, you know, just to get extra playtime hours. And quite often they're not doing that. They're putting the stuff in that we want, like the exploration stuff, like what I'm doing now. But when there's access to too much of the side stuff early, it's the mentality. Do the side quests first. Okay? And the reason we have that is so that the main quest doesn't prevent us from doing the side quests at some point then. You know, it can't prevent me from doing something I've already completed. Okay? So with games that have very large amounts of side quest, and you hit up those side quests first, and then you do it. Or Cyberpunk's a really good example. It's got all these different types of side things you can do. I'd have to have a look. I can't think how many hours I've put into that, and didn't. I can't put a marker down, and didn't progress the main story. Gotta see, that goes through from like here, I think. I don't think it comes from all the way from back there, but it's definitely in here somewhere. Okay. And again, that's on me. I went and did that. But it comes from playing games and having stuff get locked after you get to a certain point. You do a certain quest and you can't go back to it. Radiant quests, are they the ones that they only trigger if you get within a certain distance from the quest giver? Or where you get told about them? You get like a message saying this is happening now, and if you don't do it, don't go do it, it disappears. Randomly generated infinite quests. Is it quite obvious that it's one of those when the opportunity to do it shows up? See, those ones are fine because you know what they are. Alright, so we need to get on the other side of the wall that we're there, so going forward won't do it. I think we've climbed up this wall. Yeah, so you do a few, then you learn to recognize the format. Remember that? Hey, you've arrived. How did the moving go? Oh man, I feel bad. We finished Mass Effect, and you would have laughed all the way through the extra bit of stream we did with the endings. Then we started Andromeda, and Andromeda really, really good. Starship Theory?
The standard of the Prophet's army. This would have been mounted above a flag and carried by a standard bearer.
Yeah, so... and I think this is where it got a lot of hate. And people want to say it's because it was buggy, which it is. Not going to lie. However, this is one of those things where it's people's perception and inability to... I don't know, there's a word for it. Probably a word for it. Just because something isn't what you expected it to be doesn't mean it's bad at what it is. You know, it might not do the specific job you thought it was going to do well because, well, if it's not made for that, it's, you know... but as a third-person RPG game, Andromeda's a really cool game. Well, I think also the bugs are definitely there. They're bugs. Can't hide that. Like, but they're not that bad. And this is one of those things... No, they're not bad. I don't want to say they're not that bad, because that means they are. They're not bad. There's a couple of design decisions also. Not great, but not bad. But yeah, you get a game with...
Must have been delicate work.
Good dialogue.
Fixing so many volatile components.
Cool choices. Decent combat. Some bugs in the combat. You know, world exploration with a plot to follow and stuff to do. If BioWare had brought it out, had reskinned the races to be different races other than, you know, Turian and Asari and the Mass Effect races, and just called it Andromeda. The start was a bit of a drag. Well, the start was good. The first 3 hours got you into it. It did drag a bit after that for a few hours. That's definitely true. There was a drag there. I did mention it while playing though. I think that's usually a falling in the genre. Some games overcome it a little bit, but it's when you walk around talking to everyone. How do I get to over here? There doesn't seem to be a connective way. And I don't think unless I have to walk from here, I don't think we get to come back through there, right? That's where it comes out. No, that's a... Oh, I don't know now. I think that's a one-wayer. Might have to do with what we did here. Oh, I remember. We got there. I know how to get there now. We got to climb up that. But yeah, I think if you went in there going, oh cool, Mass Effect 4, this is going to be great, I can see that's people are disappointed. Probably kind of how I felt when I started playing Dragon Age Inquisition. Except I had enough of you guys and other friends giving me some advice. I'm like, that's really good advice. And I've started to apply that to a lot more games now. You know, not judging it based on my expectations, but just playing it for what it is. I think that's unfortunately one of the biggest takeaways, I guess, for someone in the industry to be like, how do we expand the universe of a game without creating another one? You don't. because the expectation from the fan base is it's not like in this case, it's not Mass Effect 4. Not good enough. This bit over here. I looked at that. You reckon it's that one? Oh, did you say left? Sorry. Wait, you didn't put left on there at all. You just said the bit of wall next to the giant wooden wall. So you hadn't said left in the first part. Well, you thought it. So I go right. You think left. I go right. So now you say the other left. I feel like I'm getting bashed here. Okay, so actually, which bit of left? Just climbing up this bit of wall here. See, if you're thinking this bit here, you're getting fooled by human eyes. I'm looking at that. That's got a... yeah, a thing there that says climb me, right? So does that one. Well, yeah. You reckon it comes from over there? Hey Crit, how you doing, man? In the first time through the level, you're back into PoE. Nice, man. I need fun time. I remember that here. See when you get back. We had to break off the struts so that this would fall down, so we could climb up here. But now what? No, she doesn't want to. Alright, I'm in thingy vision mode. Yeah, so we were able to do stuff in the first time through because it was all action based, and I think some of the things hadn't fallen down, whereas now they have. We need 3 coin caches and a mural. And that's the mural. That's the coin cache. And there's the other 2. So we just need to get out of here. I'm almost certain that's a one-way. Not 100%. What do we think? Do these yellow dots indicate one-ways? Or yellow triangles? Alright, I'm going to go to the base camp and see if we can come in from the other one. Because we have to at least go to the other base camp anyway. To get those 2 caches. And then once we've done this, we get to move on to progress story, so that'd be cool. Oh, that's inside a cave. I wonder if that one's going to that one. Where does this one let out? Did it just let us out here? I can't remember now. This does sort of say explain why sometimes it's better off to find all the stuff while you're being hunted down with burning arrows and pitchforks and whatnot, because at least you only have to go through it once. But and before this spits us out here. It will, won't it? We don't seem to be getting much closer. This isn't right. I'm going with that's a one-way arrow that spits us out somewhere. Yeah, I remember this one. Right, well, we did, at the very least, we had to fast travel to that destination to get these 2. Okay, this is the first one. Let's go get that one. Right, next one. Is that one. I wonder if those guys are going to be back. Man, that bugs me. I still can't remember. What was that? There was a third person RPG where we took this death from above type talent and it never worked. Oh, it's Cyberpunk. Hey, why am I surprised? The way Lawrence just did hers, that's how it needed to be taken care of. With a button push. Alright, we need one more mural and coin cache. Mural is there. Game's not letting me click on it. That really should be... What was this game that did the thing except it didn't do it because it was bugged? Despite the fact they already had a system in place to do stuff like that, and for whatever reason made this really bad decision. Oh, Cyberpunk. Okay, got it. That makes sense. I can't wait till they release, like they put out, I just want to see the reaction from the internet when they put out a trailer, like, to their next RPG. Warmaster Khan, you're back! You have arrived. I hope there's been no need for shouting into the wind in the backyard. And if there has, I hope it was cathartic. Okay. It'll work out. How we're getting over there. I don't think it's this way. Standard procedure is up over there. Which we can have another quick look at, but I think we're at a point where we need something not so stand. Not standard. Original. Dude, did we just kick that dude's head? Oh, Lawrence, you're so gross. Huh. Okay, so how do we get to there? That's the question. Looks like there's these bits here. Unless we're supposed to go that way. I mean, I look up at that. It looks like we're supposed to traverse it that... Huh. Maybe something else broke over this way. I don't think we get there from there. I was just about to say, I'm waiting to get a response from Warmaster Khan saying he just arrived and got on the phone or got an email or got a message. You're helping a friend? That's good, man. Well, it's not... You know what I mean. Good you're able to help your friend. Okay, is that a thing I can use? That may be a thing we can use. Oh, I can't grab hold of it. Okay, hang on. I doubt it's a thing. Oh, hang on. What's that? Oh, I think I can get up there. In fact, I'm certain I can get up there. I think there's a thing here. There we go. Did you get any weekend gaming done? There you go, Lawrence. Now what? Uh-huh. I think I'm doing the thing, chat. Oh, maybe. Okay, so we can use that to climb if we can get over there. It's not helping very much. Are you imagining me the now what? Yeah, and I'm like, now what? Become predictable, Panz. Hey look, there's an explorer satchel that's going to put new things on the map. But it's not because I've gotten all the things. Oh, so seriously, now what? I mean, I'd love to be able to jump down there, use the grappling hook to rocket, swing me around back up to that height, but I don't think that's how physics. Oh wait, Lawrence physics. You got a fancy barbecue bill, made 4 racks of rib, put 8 side hustle orders, upped your resume, rewired your stereo system, and played D&D. That sounds like a really productive weekend, man. I wonder if I need to get up there. try this. That did not seem to adequately transfer my momentum. Mr. Newton will be thoroughly unimpressed with that. When reading that, you instantly thought I'm a barbecue girl in a barbecue world. Do 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 do. Ba 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 ba. You can brush my hair, undress me, anywhere. It didn't adequately rip out my arm. I know, right? Like, look, she deliberately kicks that on the way up. There we go. There we go. Oh, there's another one here. Woo! Alright, why? Okay, this can get pulled. Why? Does that mean it can... It's being hung up by something, right? Where's the other one? Or is it not? Kizron, do you have the answer for this? I just want to get over here and pick up the mural and look at the mural and pick up the coins. No. Oh man, that's not very useful. Let's go back over this way and see if there's a something that'll make me be like, oh, there it was. Lawrence, have you tried opening the door? Ooh. Oh, not dying. Let's go with not dying. Wait, wait. Alright. I thought I was onto something then. Oh, wait. Like, I'm where I need to be, right? Okay, hang on. Now I'm no longer where I need to be. No! But I liked being where I needed to be. That just sounds like you're not trying hard enough, honestly. I think I need to be above where I am. I'm trying to get that mural. There is a Google answer. Is it make sure you get it before you leave the area. Okay, fast travel to camp. Is it fast travel to this camp? Can't click that. You make a very poor man without hair. Man without hair. Easier if I writ. You must be new to Twitch. Streamer reads. It's not what I have eyes for. What do I have eyes for? Okay, so not this camp. Alright, there we go. I'm on it. I was wondering if it was a different camp. Hey, what's that two-head in there for? Geothermal Valley Ridge Camp. Okay. Which one's the Ridge Camp? Base Camp? Base Camp. Well, put Ridge Line. It leads you back to the flooded archives. Okay. Oh, climbing arrows to go back up a wall. Dive down to the water, but instead of going across the water, you'll see a tomb opening. Okay, hang on, hang on. Dive down to the water. Like, do we think they mean down there? Because there is water really close. Oh, here we go. Tombvania. Do 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 boo boo boo. Are you... I'm going to stick with this. See it through. I think we did this at one stage. And I ended up all the way over here and I'm like, where did this go? Maybe it's a different tunnel. I'm not sure I'm buying this. I think there was an error somewhere. I think we've been bamboozled. So you get that there, dive down to the water, which we did. Instead of going across the water, we will see a tomb opening. Which the assumption was it was that. I don't think it is. But there's nothing else. This leads you back to Flooded Archives. Get ready to swim underwater a ways. You know you're on the right track when after a long swim you have to use your climbing arrows to get up a wall. Take the long swim again, but I didn't see any walls in here. I think Panz.exe is going to leave the building. Can we keep going? No. That's it. That is the end of the journey. Start at Ridgeline Camp, like you said. Turn so the camp is behind you, and the waterfall drop is off to your right. Okay, so basically the instructions that the dude gives are rubbish. I'm glad people have felt the need to comment on the internet. You get a lot of he said dive down instead of saying at the place where you dive, don't. Yeah. Well, that's the problem. When your first instruction is dive down, you know what the majority of people will do first? Wait for it. This is going to blow your mind. They're going to dive down. There's a lot of, when you look up little tidbits on how to do certain things in games, there's a lot of times you'll find the exact same thing posted word for word on half a dozen different websites. And they're all the type of websites that really could have used having comments at the bottom. But they're all turned off because what used to happen was people would say, hey, this is the same, the original author is over here, this person's just copied it, you know, blah, blah, blah. So those websites now don't allow comments. That way you can't shame someone for plagiarizing. What's worse is when they're all wrong now, and people can't even leave comments saying, hey, this doesn't work. Okay. You will copy past advice if... No, I'm talking about people on... Like, the people that are copy pasting aren't sharing information to, like, me. They're writing other article... Or they're creating another article on a different web... you know, so you get, like, gamerhelps.com and gamersupport.com and gamertips.com and gameradvice.com. And they're the places where people will submit articles, because usually they're under contract. Like, if you submit something that gets published, if it gets X amount of hits, you know, you get revenue, blah, blah, blah. Where was the one that you put the help? Oh, it's way over there. Hang on. Okay. And I think what a lot of people have realized, a lot of dishonest people, if you're publishing articles for a website that you only get paid if you get X amount of hits, the quickest way of doing that, when you say get cash, you get very small amounts of money, and it's based on the hits and the ad click-through and stuff like that. And if you get enough of them, then you could use it as a portfolio to actually get a paid job. And by paid job, it's very, very low pay. All right, start at Ridgeliner Camp, like he said. But so what they do is, that's why you see a whole bunch of ones with the literally copy-pasted. Some of them even use the same photos or screenshots, because doing that is easier than writing your own. And you could put out, you know, dozens of those a day if all you do is just find the, you know, and there's tools that'll give you the most searched Google questions to recent games and stuff. Turns out the camp is behind you, and the waterfall drop-off is to your right. Yeah. Go straight across a small river and keep going straight until you need to jump and swing on a branch. Are we assuming I go across that thing? To cross the steep water drop with water at the bottom. Wow, this is nothing like the original guy's instructions. Follow path until you see cave on the left. It's here. I remember where it is now. So that original post, absolutely nothing, not correct at all. Flooded archives. It sounds like having a job, a badly paid one. Yeah, but, you know, people like to try and find ways they think is easy scam money. Those instructions were terrible. No wonder someone had to comment on how to fix it. Where's the part where swimming underwater for a tunnel? Well, that's the other thing too. Yeah, the badly paid one might be a fortune in another country, right? Because you get paid cents to the 100 clicks on ad click-through and stuff. The other thing to consider, and this has happened, and it's what's driven a lot of this to not work, is that in some of those countries, what the person will do, oh, here's this long swim, is it also might explain why the directions were so bad, because the translation into English would have been, you know, was hard. What they will do is then they'll write the article, they'll Google into it, right? So they'll write out the search in Google, all the search engines they can find. Google, what else do we have? Bing, Yahoo, probably a bunch of others. they will click on their link from that search engine and then click through to an ad, right? And that's where they spend the majority of the time, is processing fake click-throughs for their own crappy article from different search engines and different VPN locations. Right. That does two things. One is it gives them some clicks, so if the money's worth a lot more in their country, then they can burn some pennies. But it also raises their the search awareness for that set of keywords. There was something, I can't remember. It was one of the world puzzles in Genshin Impact. And I'd found some of it. Not most, only some. It's a pretty good puzzle. And I'd done enough that I'm like, okay, I've spent enough time on it, I just want to get it done now. So I googled. Shame. And I found half a dozen articles that were all identical, and the problem is they were all wrong. I'm looking at it going, this is not the location that they're referencing, and the picture that they're talking about is not. I eventually was able to solve it using the article as help. But yeah, all the articles were all word for word. They all used the same screenshots. Yeah. And of course they're all wrong if one of them's wrong, because they were all identical. There was a crawl space, was there? Oh, good eyes, man. Thanks.
At its height, the city was a marvel. Wow. These buildings would rival anything in the Empire.
100%. What am I missing from the Geothermal Valley? Oh, mission. Okay, so the mission will get completed when we do another tomb. Somewhere. Because it's like a... It's just the mission's tagged at that one for whatever reason, but we've got to go for another tomb. Like, we're 100ing everything. All the hundos. All the hundos. It's feeling good, man. Okay, which brings us back to a point we were talking about way back. About games padding with things to complete and stuff. But I think part of it is on us as players. I think that's where we got distracted. Is that what used to happen was we'd get a game, we'd play it, we'd collect stuff along the way. We might spend a bit of time trying to collect more stuff. But we were happy afterwards to occasionally go back to the game, play a level, and collect the stuff. What happens is now is we want to do it in one hit. Before we get to that point of no return, we want to have all the stuff collected. That way we can finish the game and be done with it. Move on to the next one. Because we don't tend to, as players, keep playing the game for as long as we used to. Because there's more. It's like, I've got to get to the next one. I don't want to miss out. Now, this one we're missing 2 survival caches. It's okay. And so what that leads us to is an unnecessary amount of exploration, which gets tedious, right? And that will make people be like, oh yeah, the game just drags on. Or people say the story didn't flow very well, and because they'll do some story, you knock over the hour's worth of story in an hour, but then before moving on, you'll now spend 3 hours traversing a zone, like I do. Then you'll do the next chunk of story and you'll be like, yeah, it didn't flow. It's like, did you think maybe it didn't flow because you put 3-hour chunks of nothing in between there in the way you played the game? Oh, that's the developer's fault. No, that's not the developer's fault. Yeah. And then the opposite happens where people are like, oh man, the last game had this many hours, this one only had this many. It's like, did you do all the collectibles? Nah, I just played through the story. Did the last game you play through just the story? No, I stopped and did all the collectibles. But the story wasn't very good, it didn't flow. This story flowed though. It's like, wow. I wonder if there's some sort of, you know, correlation there between those two discoveries. Yeah, I don't get it, man. Hope they pick up their game. Where is the thing? I was right on the thing. There it is. $100%. Well, let's go buy some stuff from the dude. Dude, you got stuff to buy? I need more coins for the upgrade tool. I shouldn't have bought something else I bought. I should have bought the upgrade tool instead. I would like a refund. Reminds me of Simcopter. He's a cool dude. Alright, let's get out of here.
story.